not as huge as this guy. Ron Slay, former Vol, joins us now. Ron, how are you, sir?
Doing good this morning, man. How you guys doing?
I'm doing well. Okay,
hmm
so we're trying to figure out the new way to say hip. I've had a week to think about it. And so I don't want to say the new helmets are hip, but what are they? Because are they tight, turnt?
Oh
What,
God.
what are
Oh
they?
God, help us.
Because
Nah,
I think they look awesome. And I'm
yeah.
super traditionalist. I said never mess with the helmets, but
Nah,
I love
they
them.
They're
sick.
fire.
Sick. Yeah,
Sick.
fire. Yeah. Yeah, it's a different type of what would you say? Swag is not lit. You don't really want to go with lit with the helmet.
I don't know the difference in any of these.
You started out with tight, so yeah, I'm gonna say probably not.
tight was in my that's when I was in school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just a little bit older than you. Um, so Ron, do you like the orange helmets? If you're
Love them.
okay, if you're Bob Jones, the prospect out of Phoenix, Arizona, and you see those, are you like, whoa?
Yeah, I am. I'm like, man, sign me up. That's what I'm talking about. You need that pop. You need that drip. We were talking on our show yesterday. We were talking with Terrence Mitchell, the cornerback for the Tennessee Titans, and I was asking them about their secondary room, and who got the most sauce with them. They all got a different type of drip. You know what I mean? Fashionistas when it comes to dressing and everything. And that's what he was like. He was like, man, that's when you see guys run out there with the different type of cleats, different color cleats, and little accents on the wristbands and arm sleeves and things of that nature, it catches the eye because that's before you see the performance and the production out there. First thing you see is the presence, what they got going on. So you got to give it up to them, man. That orange helmet is, whew, that's nasty, man. I'm gonna
And
be
if you
real.
would have if you would have said it without me seeing it, I would have thought that's not going to work.
Yeah,
But
because you don't know like what orange helmet. Like, what do you mean? Like, what's going on here? But man, they put it out there with the white stormtroopers. Like, that's it.
yeah,
That's it. I just can't wait to see how the players accent it. That's what I want to see. Because you're going all white. Do they come with like the orange arm sleeves? You know what I'm saying? Does somebody throw the little orange cleats on with it to make it? It's gonna be interesting. Because I like what they did with the black. Because Hooker
yeah.
had the orange sleeves on his legs, the warmers. Like you gotta have something to it. You gotta have something to it right there, Hook. So you know what I mean?
And
Get a
I
little
like
sick with it.
I liked what they did with the baby blue too,
That was cool.
because it was for a great cause,
Yup.
and it's definitely not one of their school colors, but it is a Lady Vol school color. It's neat to see how the Lady Vols and the men's side that was torn apart by former athletic director Dave Hart have come back together. Because I'll tell you this story. I'm sure you remember. Do you remember Terry Fair, defensive back?
T-Fell, yeah. Number
Yeah,
23, baby.
yeah, no doubt. Do you know why he came to Tennessee?
No.
He saw the Lady Vols in the Final Four one year and said, "What's this Tennessee all about?" He was from Phoenix, Arizona.
Really?
Yeah, and I mean, and so at that point, the connection
Wow.
was made, and Arizona told him that, hey, you don't want to go to Tennessee. They've got too many good players. You won't play. And he goes, his mom said, you need to get out of my house. My son can play with anybody.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
that's that, but that's how the initial connection was made. So
That was the
um
selling point. They got too many good players.
no, that
Hey,
did that didn't work out for
yeah.
Arizona.
Yeah.
All right, Ron, do you have a nickname for South Carolina? Because you had Kentucky. So do we have a nickname at this point, or are you still
I
working?
I actually don't.
Okay.
I'm cool with the Gamecocks right now. I think they've talked themselves into a troubling corner, if you will. You got players still out here talking about we just need to have our cleats on the ground. We need to have our cleats in the dirt before the ball is snapped. And then this is the thing. I think they thought Hyper was going to be a flash in the pan with this offense, and it wasn't going to get better. So, what's in the offseason, the thing to do was to take shots at the offense that's not going to be able to reproduce and do the same thing they did last year. Can't get better than last year, and here they are now, averaging 50 points. Not 50, but somewhere around 50. So you got Beamer taking shots early on with the Georgia State win. I think these receipts have been kept, and if it comes down to it, and Joe Milton throws a 175-yard pass to Squirrel on the 1-yard line with, I don't care if it's 10 seconds left, run it in. Matter of fact, quarterback sneak it in and going in there. Like, man, hey man, punish these people that were doing all this talking, man. The receipts have been kept, so we'll figure it out. You know what? The Gamecocks they're gonna have their own little nickname soon. They're gonna figure it out. They're gonna figure it out for us.
Brittany has one on the message boards that I like. It's Game Hens.
The game hens. Okay.
I think there's something to that. I'll let you decide because I'm not hip. Ron's appearance brought to you by Zach England. Best and Brock. Zach England is a personal injury attorney that will take care of you against those big, huge monster lawyers with big, huge monster insurance companies. And Zach England is a personal injury attorney that is phenomenal. Zach's got your back. Be sure and hit that like button, the thumbs up button, subscribe and share so we can be a part of your day each day and then on the weekend as well. So, Ron, I want to get to some basketball, but I imagine Amanda has some thoughts on the college football playoff or some more football talk. Amanda, shoot.
What do you think the outcome of this game is going to be? Tennessee, South Carolina. I mean, I know that's just a kind of a loaded question, but what do you see who makes the biggest impact and how do they do it?
I think once again, you go back to the offensive line. I'm going to go with the offensive line being able to push people around, give Henderson time to unload passes and move the team down the field with some explosive plays. I think you still want to have the style points involved. So I love what Brew was able to do last week. I've been waiting on them to incorporate him more with passes over the middle, some post passes, like things more of than just a 2-yard stop and then him creating passes yards after the catch. Brew is a guy I really want to see involved in offense. You know what you're gonna get with Hyde. Hopefully, they put Tillman back out there and he's feeling healthy. And you get him back going because you're gonna need him in this stretch run in college football playoff. So those are the guys. Those are the guys. Continue using Fant, but the offensive line for me. After what happened against Georgia, that's the motto for me throughout the rest of the season. You look at that tape, and regardless of what they want to say, however you want to say it, however it was played, you got punked. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't care who it is. Jalen Carter punked them people up front, man. And it really on both sides of the ball. Byron Young and them couldn't get to the quarterback. Stetson Bennett was getting it out quick enough. So both sides of the ball, but specifically the offensive line, man. Spraggins, Mays, all those guys up front. Man, that interior part, that center guard triangle right there, they got to be able to come with it, and dominate the rest of this season and going into the playoffs. That's big time for me. I'm gonna be watching that very, very closely because that's what it's predicated on. You give Hooker time, he's gonna do what he does. We're not gonna see him overthrowing Brew, overthrowing Hyatt, overthrowing Fant, throwing guys where he can make it a strike. So give him time. So it's all on the offensive line to me.
Yep. I think that they've got something to prove for the rest of the season. That was supposed to be a team weakness. You remember that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And now they're up there, one of the 8 semifinalists for the Joe Moore Award. I would be lying to you if I said that I knew what the Joe Moore Award was before this year. But it goes to the top offensive line in the country. So I've learned that, Ron. But, I mean, they've gone from questionable to competent to a team strength, which has been impressive.
Yeah, you got to tip your hat off to them. And that was the thing coming into the season. You didn't know exactly. You knew what you were going to get from Hooker, but you didn't know how they were going to hold up. You knew what Mays was going to bring back to you. you're moving Carvin and those guys around. You bring Mincy in, who's gonna play that spot. So the way those guys gelled, and were kind of an afterthought, like we don't know what you're gonna get, and then all of a sudden became intricate part of the team, and you're like, man, we need them. And then you start seeing them run the ball. You start seeing them be nasty, pushing guys around, and then looking at the sideline, telling them, no, let's run it again. Let's run it again. Like, that's what you want to see. You look back at the old teams, and that's one of the things that jumps off when you think about championship teams. You look at teams like big Big Fred Weary and Cozy Coleman and all those guys. Like, man, there was some big boy linemen, man. Like, you had the Jamal Lewis's and the Travis Henrys and Peerless Price and all of, but that offensive line, man, when they walked in the room, you was like, oh, they serious. I understand why this defense is so good, because man, they go against them every day, and I understand why this O-line is so good. They go against this defense every day. So that's what you had, and I think you saw that. You saw that forming in this team throughout this year.
Amanda, you want to jump in there?
Sure.
Jump on in here, Amanda.
Jump on, Amanda.
Sorry. All right. So you said Brew McCoy is somebody you want to see more out of. Is there another player that you think that UT hasn't, or Tennessee hasn't utilized, or that maybe you want to see more from?
Yeah, Squirrel. Squirrel White. Like, we came into the season, that's all we were hearing in the offseason. Like, where'd you see this guy? The speed is going to be a different dynamic. You sending this guy in motion, it's going to make the defense be attentive. Like, where's he going, and make them shift a little bit. And then you got the RPO off of that. It's like, whoa, you got Hendon Hooker with a good running back with Squirrel going in motion. The linebackers got to be froze. So I would love to see a little bit more of that. I think we saw some of it early in the season during when games got a little bit out of hand and he was put in. You saw it last week, him be able to use his speed to get behind the defense. I would love to see it more, even if it was just for a decoy. You send it a guy like that, and of course, Hooker doesn't have the arm that Milton does, but I don't even think that was a real play for Squirrel. It was just like, no way he's going to throw this ball 70 yards, but you send the guy on a go, and the safety is like, no, he's not throwing it to him. And then you look up and the ball's in the air. It's like, whoa. So just if you were going to use him to just take somebody out to spread the field, space the field, get the secondary trot back, I would love to see him on some jet sweeps. I'm sure Hyper, man, with the mind that he has so many different packages for him. I'm just wondering why we haven't seen it as much, when he was raved so much about, in the offseason. That's one of the guys I was really looking forward to. And granted, he's young, plus you got so many weapons. Like, you would be taking the ball away from a guy like Tillman, Brew, Hyatt by getting him the ball. But still, that's one of the guys that I think is, when you talk about a difference maker, at some point, speed kills. I mean, it is what it is. You can't coach it, can't plan for it. And that's what this is. This offense is tailored on, this speed. So I would love to see him get a little bit more active in there.
I think the exciting thing for Squirrel Ron is maybe not this season, or maybe going into the college football playoff and or bowl game, is that he's going to have more and more time learning that slot position. Because if you look back, Velus Jones had basically one off season to learn it and had a great year. Yep. And now you've had Jalen Hyatt, who admitted that going into last season, he didn't have the right mental mindset. So now he's had 1 year basically under his belt to learn it. Yep. You're going to have Squirrel White, who's a freshman this year, have 2 years to really learn and develop at that slot position. I think he's going to be a scary player. I don't know if it's this year or not, but I think he's going to be scary good.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think that's one of the things with this offense. You see guys get wide open, and you're like, golly, that was easy. So you think that this offense may not be as advanced or complicated as it is, but like you said, when you listen to guys like Hyatt and them talk, all they talk about is, man, we also get to read and react out there at the position, so you can react to the defender, whether it's breaking off the route, and Hooker knows that as well. So it's so many different nuances and different spaces that you're in that, it's got to be difficult to learn. I mean, it's not last year where you looked like it was one read, two reads, and then go. Now you got Hooker scanning the field, taking his time. So there's got to be a lot of things. And then you also play off of each other. The reason Jalen is running free like that is because Brewer's a decoy cutting across, and it's all kind of little things. So yeah, I agree with you, man. It's gonna be a lot to learn, and when he does, he's gonna be dynamic. Kind of like I would remind me of like a Kadarius Toney. That's what I would expect him to be like. I would expect him to be like that.
I hadn't thought of that comparison. All right.
You're welcome,
So-
Dave.
Thank you. By the way, just for the record, we also have before Amanda jumps in there. By the way, you're blowing up because we can always tell because the dating sites are posting all over our.
Hey,
Hey, so
we're in Nashville, baby. We brought the bachelorettes with us.
You can
Bachelors and the bachelorettes.
You can listen to Ron Slay on 104.5 The Zone every afternoon with Brent Doherty. They do a fantastic job. Okay, so we got hoop socks, yard birds. I'm not going to read that one. Game hens, yard chickens, lame cocks. You just you can ruminate on those and let us know, Ron, when one sticks, man.
I have one, but I'm not going to say it. It's slightly inappropriate.
I don't know what could be, Amanda, though. I don't know what could be more inappropriate, though. If you ever go to a South Carolina game, they got the sign. I feel weird saying it, but it's "Go Cox" all over the place.
So that's the difficult part for me. It's like, I mean, what are we doing here?
You could call them flaccid chickens. I don't know.
Hey.
But continuing on. Flaccid chickens. That's what I'm going to go with.
Pretty good.
Continuing on. Let's switch to basketball a little bit.
Let's do it.
Give me I know you have a lot of opinion on this team so far. And they haven't, some people are disappointed with how they've started, yada, yada, yada. Give me your just general view of what's going on with Tennessee basketball right now.
Well, first of all, before we can get into that, the people that are disappointed, man, just pump your brakes and relax a little bit. You're going to see this throughout the non-conference schedule. One, because of the transfer portal, the playing field is even. And you got to imagine these guys that are coming in here, that are coming to these universities, can really play. A lot of them just getting opportunities now being on the big stage to play against teams like Tennessee Power 5 conference teams. So you're going to see a lot of that. You see it in Florida with FAU. You saw Grambling go and beat Colorado at Colorado. So, I mean, it's like you're going to see that throughout. South Carolina State took South Carolina to the wire. If they didn't have G.G. Jackson, who was a hell of a player, it would have came out ugly. So just relax. Just relax. Things will start to even out once we get to conference. But as far as the Tennessee team goes, I'm still loving the team. I think they're figuring things out as far as tinkering with lineups, what rotations go together. It's difficult when you got a team that's led by a guy in Josiah Jordan-James who's coming back off of injury. How do you work him back in? And then when you work him back in, what do you do with the minutes that you've been given to Julian Phillips? You know what I'm saying? So Tyreek Key is another guy who, when you come into a situation and you're a new guy being dropped into a situation where a team is a championship pedigree team coming off a championship, you don't really want to thrust yourself into a role of stepping on toes or I'm that guy. You kind of want it to happen organically. And in a sense it has. And I think he has to do a better job of accepting who he is. You're a scorer. You've been brought here to score. If you don't shoot, you're hurting us. So you don't need to turn down any shots. You know what I'm saying? I think Santi had the same problem when he first got here. He was in the backcourt with Lamonte and those guys, and he was like, man, he still had a flamethrower then, but he wouldn't shoot as much because it was like, this is their team. Let me just work my way in here, and you saw that change. Now you blink your eye, he's letting it go, so you just got to get comfortable with each other. And it comes from playing, it's nothing like being on that stage. I think this Colorado game that they had, they just missed shots to me. Like a lot of the shots that they were shooting were open shots. They just missed. Like you shot 25%. You can't beat me right now. And I'm out of shape. You cannot beat me if you get out there and play like that. So I look at it, what they gave up. They gave up 78 points to a team like Colorado. You're supposed to hold them to 60. you hang your hat on defense. That's what your calling card is, regardless of how many people you bring back, how many all SEC guys you got. You play defense. You go out there and play defense. You win a game when you shoot 25% because you hold them to 60, and you score 66. You're gonna be okay. You know what I'm saying? So that's the biggest thing to me. I don't think it's anything to get up in arms about. I know I heard there was some things that Coach Barnes was saying. Zakai ain't starting no more and stuff like that. And guess what? That may be good because I think he's relished in the role of being a spark. And what people don't understand is when you come in and you start to be a starter, you have a different responsibility of not only being able to spark it, find what we're missing, and you add it, but setting the tone for it, and also the responsibility of getting you in charge. You ain't going, get you going, get you going. So you got to get all of them going while getting yourself going and continuing to understand tempo and pace and all of these things. So it's all things that's gonna come, man. I'm proud of this bench. I do love this bench. I like Adu coming off the bench. I like Meshack coming off the bench. You can tell he's worked on his shot. Tyreek Key coming off the bench. Josiah is really ready to get back into his role. I think he the way he's been scoring, he picked up right where he left off last year, coming out of conference playing and in the tournament. So they're in good hands, man. Nobody panic. This is what I would like to see. And I think it's hard in the non-conference because there's so many guard-heavy teams. I would love to see Olivier. Like that's who I'm really, really watching this year, especially after the injury. He's supposed to have a fire burning in his belly to get back out there. He's been left off all SEC teams. Like that would do it for me. We went and played really good with his national team this summer, so he has the experience. He played against pros. This ought to be not a cakewalk, but he at least in the park walking, you know. So it's going to be interesting to see how he picks it back up. So,
did you ever get called out by a coach publicly? Because, man, Rick Barnes, and I know part of this is, you're early in the season. It's a way to motivate guys. But this was his quote about Zakai Ziegler. Said, quote, he was totally out of control to the point where I've already told him you're not starting because him starting the game hasn't worked very well in terms of the way we want to get started. You mentioned the starting point, but being totally out of control. Have you ever been called out to that point, Ron?
I can't remember because one thing I don't remember. I think I may have got called out because of talking, and I thought the coach thought I was being distracted from my game by talking. So I responded with being quiet for 2 games, and my performance wasn't the same. So he told me to go back to talking. But outside of that,
Jerry?
No, Buzz did that.
Oh, okay.
Buzz did that early in the year. My junior year. Yeah, it didn't go well. So I went back to talking, and things got back to normal. But with Zakai, this is my thing. You saw this with Barnes, and the reason Barnes is able to do this is because of the relationships that he has with these young men off the court. You know, you're not gonna respond well if a coach is calling you out and you know it's him just trying to get a headline or just talk trash. Whatever he's saying in the media, you best believe he said in that locker room already, and it's understood, and everybody's taking it and like, oh man, come on, and they take it with a grain of salt. You know, he understands that, like he's not getting it done, so he'll respond the correct way. And you saw it last year with Forky, and Forky came out and responded. It wasn't consistent responses, but he came out and responded after that. So these guys understand. Josiah's been called out plenty of times. Santi's been called out. Like this is what Coach Barnes does, and it's all because of the relationship he has with these guys off the court. You're able to do that in the locker room and able to do that on the court, and they know it's coming from a good place. You know, you're going to be coached hard, but you're going to be coached with love. You're going to be coached and expected to all get to the same level and stay at this level. We're not going to have any drop-offs. The drop-offs won't be. That's not accepted at all on that level. So I think it's good. I think it's good for him. Let Olivier play like this again. He'll be called out. You know, so, and I think another thing too, Euros fouling out. I mean, not fouling out, hurting his ankle in that game kind of hurt too. Hurt as far as rotation goes. Colorado had a big fella down there that was kind of banging around, and it was like we didn't match his intensity. So the physicality that the Euros brought was missed in that game.
Despite all the practice time you spend leading up to the season and the off season, at the end of the day, how much do you have to get in the season to really get to know one another in terms of chemistry, in terms of rotation? When it comes to basketball, you have that time early in the season. It's not like football. You can even lose a game, but in some ways benefit from it.
Yeah.
So how much of that has to have, or how much of that does happen during the season?
A lot of it. A lot of it. What you expect to come in, you expect to come in and understand the chemistry is set from the preseason. But as far as getting to know guys, what their tendencies are, you can simulate it in practice a little bit, but it ain't the same until you get your adrenaline going and the lights get out there, the popcorn popping. I know, man, he really don't like to come off the screen this way. But if I dribble to him and hand it off to him and then shield my guy, he plays a little better or he gets downhill differently. You start to learn the nuances from guys. And that only comes with playing experience. That's why you always say, man, going into conference, these non-conference games is when we're going to figure each other out, who we really are, who we want to be. And then by the time we get to conference, we have an identity. You know, the teams that are really successful earlier are teams that come back like this team, but without the injury. Like if we were able to get those 5 out there and you were able to incorporate Julian Phillips not in the starting lineup, Tariq Key not in the starting lineup, but you had Josiah, Santi, Zakai handling the pressure, Olivier, and Euros down low. If that was your starting 5, you would expect you to get off to a good start early and kind of keep it rolling. But when you got to insert guys like Phillips in, he ain't no play with these guys on this level, you know. So and then you got Key coming off the bench, the first guy off the bench before Josiah was. It's a different chemistry that has to be formed with those guys as far as knowing what guys like to do, when they like to do it, who's always getting back on defense when the shot's taken, who's going to pressure the ball. If I'm a big man, the ball's taken out, do I like to gamble real quick and try to get a steal? Like it's all these little things that you learn from each other. So it'll come along. You usually learn about the first 8 to 10 games. Then it starts to fall in place.
Ron Slay, 104.5, The Zone in Nashville. And I'm going to let you out of here, Ron. Just give me one thing you want to see tonight, Florida Gulf Coast. If there's one thing as this team escalates and improves, one thing you'd like to see tonight.
I love to see us get on the offensive boards more. Get on the offensive boards. Like you got guys that are athletic that can really get up and down. We always supposed to bring a physical approach. And if guys understand who they are, we want to take the long three. We take open threes, which give long rebounds. So if you can get in there and sneak some like Josiah, Phillips, who should be a really good rebounder, Olivier should be really on the boards, and knowing to go back and score, get some easy baskets like that. That'll bring the defense in for not boxing down. That's when you get the open threes. Kind of the Bruce Pearl logic to it. You know, the best time to get a three, especially when you got good shooters, is on the offensive rebound. So got good shooters out there, get the offensive rebound, kick it out. I love to see also just be able to pressure guys a little bit more. Let us hear about that physicality that we were hearing about against Gonzaga and Michigan State, and like show us that, even though you're playing a lesser opponent, you supposedly air quotations, but go out there and show who you are. Show who you are. You Tennessee, be that every night in and night out. You can deal with missing shots. I'm not worried about them missing shots against Colorado. If they would do it again tonight, that's fine. But go out there and hold this team to 60 points. If you do that night in and night out, you got a great opportunity and a great chance to win it. So that's what I want to see tonight.
Ron, great stuff as always, buddy. Certainly appreciate it. 104.5 The Zone. You're on, the time change throws me off. You're on 3 to 6 Eastern? 3 to 6
Central.
3 to 6 Central.
Yep.
It's weird. The 1 hour one always throws me off. I'm on the West Coast and I can do the math in my head, no problem.
Yeah.
But it's the 1 hour one that throws me off. So
yeah, that's all right. It's all right. Look, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Hey man, Vols by 40. Nah, I ain't gonna give them 40. 30 because it's on the road. 30 against the Gamecocks.
Oh, I think they'll win by 30 easily.
Yeah.
I actually picked the scores. I think I picked 62-24 last week.
Another 60-point game.
Yeah, I get the vibe from, and I know that you listen to every single minute of the things that are on our YouTube page. I know that you do. But
I
I
know
just
too.
get the feeling from Jacob Warren and Cooper Mays that this team, we do weekly podcasts with them every Sunday. I
Mhm.
just get the feeling they're really driven and really PO'd about what happened in Athens. And
I like that.
I think that emotional part of it offsets anything the Gamecocks can do. So
Amanda, how bad you think they beat them?
I think they beat them pretty bad. I mean, I think it's going to be probably. Well, I can't do a score prediction because I have to wait till Friday, but I think they'll beat them by 40.
Woo-hoo, yeah. Let's see.
Yeah.
I like that. That's the thing. That's the thought process I like. Then I can't wait to get to Vandy. Ooh.
Oh yeah, the national guy got some thoughts on Vandy.
Ooh, I can't
Their
wait.
senior day.
It's their senior day.
Are they? I think Tennessee actually should checker Vandy.
No,
Yeah, Vanderbilt Stadium. I think that's going to happen. Actually,
If
not
they
for their
do that,
senior day.
Amanda, that's what
That's
I'm saying. This is the
rough.
most disrespectful thing you can do in life of sports.
I know.
If
You
you
don't
go
want to be
check
that
it,
team.
no, like
You don't be that team.
golly, man. I listen. I've been petitioning Vandy. Go buy all your tickets, please. Vanderbilt, whatever you got to do, go buy all the tickets, and just don't let nobody come. Don't sell them nobody. Just buy them all, and just, hey, do not let Tennessee fans come in there and check at that stadium. If it is, I'm going bananas. I'm going bananas. They'll never hear the end of this.
I think it's going to happen.
I hope.
I will tell you this: I was there in Nashville, and they're doing some renovations on the stadium,
Mm-hmm.
and I just hope that you've never been to the press box. There's a large pole that is right in front of the elevator that you have to duck under to get to the press box, and was there for a decade. I hope they get that fixed. I hope that's part of the renovations. That place
Hey
is
man,
dumb.
if they check at that place, they got bulldozers sitting right there in the end zone. Somebody should get in the bulldozer and just run smooth into the stadium and just start tearing it down during the game. Like everybody should have to come sit in lawn chairs to watch the game if they check at that stadium.
Nealon West. Thank you, Ron. I appreciate it.
All right, man. I'll
Ron
see y'all.